Wednesday, Groundhog Day, number 25, something like that. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing great. I have so much show and tell today. I started thinking about what we were going to do. Hey, Karen, and I really have a lot to show you. So I was thinking I would break it up for 2 days and work on our journals, but lots of good stuff. And Karen, I hope you're doing great. Thanks for staying up for watching. I know it's a little late over there. So anyway, okay, so let me kind of review what we have been doing, and then we'll get started on some demo work. So last night, okay, so yesterday we were working on some of these flowers. And actually, some of you guys have been sending me your flowers, and I love it. Hey, Teresa. Some of you guys have been sending some of your flowers, and I love them, and they're so cool and beautiful. So thank you you guys make me feel so good when you reach out and tell me how you're doing with them. So what I did was, I'm going to bring this a little closer so you guys can see. I took the Copics and I did some blending, and then I was talking to my mom last night on the phone, and she didn't realize that the Copics do blend, and I think that's probably why they're a little bit more expensive than other markers. And just, have fun with it. I like to use a smooth paper and start with a lighter color, and then you can start adding a little darker in between some of these petals in here. Like you can really see it on this one and this one. Those were done with the Copics. And you can even go over some of your colors with the lighter color and just start to add on some value. So this one I almost have finished. I still have some little areas in here to do, and I'm waiting for my perfect quote to go in there for some lettering. So anyway, that's what we were working on yesterday. And then I mentioned to you guys I wanted to do an inside spread. So I have some ideas on what we're gonna do, which is gonna be really fun. But before I get going on that, I wanted to also share with you guys how I get some of my ideas for paintings. And the ideas can come from all sorts of places. I could be thinking about something or reading about something, and then all of a sudden in my head I literally see the painting. And then I have to start from the painting in my head and work it down to a little sketch and then kind of move from there. So about, a couple days ago, I had this passage that I read, and it's a book that I have that my sister Susanna gave me for Mother's Day a couple years ago. This book, you guys, is so amazing, and it was on Oprah Winfrey's top favorite things a few years ago. It's written by an author named Mark Nepo, and inside the book is every single day he writes a passage, and it's actually really great for if you want to meditate with it too, but you don't have to. But each day it's a little daily passage, super short, but it's not dated to the year. So any day you can look, and it doesn't matter what year you're in. Sorry about that. What year are you in? What year you're in. But the other day on March 30th, I was reading this. I'm going to read this little tiny section of it to you guys so you can kind of understand my brain, how I get to my painting. And it just, as soon as I was finished reading it, I had this idea for a painting. Okay, so I know it's a little bit wacky, but that's what happens in an artist's brain. The whole idea about this passage, so it's on March 30th for those who have this book. Oh, okay, Roxanne, I gave that book to my sister. You need to have one for you too. It is truly incredible. Okay, ask her about March 30th. So we're going to go back a couple days, but it's about the term called mana, M-A-N-A. The term is originally used in the Polynesian and Melanesian cultures to describe an extraordinary power or force residing in a person or object. Then it goes on to talk about that, but here's the thing that kind of sparked this idea in my head. It talked about, down here, the beautiful and simple truth of this can be seen in looking at the sun. The sun, without intent or will or plan or sense of principle, just shines thoroughly and constantly. By being itself, the sun warms with its light, never withholding or warming other certain things of the earth. Rather, the sun emanates in all directions at all times, and things grow. In the same way, when we are authentic, expressing our warmth and light in all directions, we cause things around us to grow. And I was like, oh my God, that is so awesome. And then at the very end down here, it said, by being this way, by being who you are, we not only experience life in all its vitality, but quite innocently and without design. We help others to be more thoroughly themselves. In being real, in staying devoted to this energy of realness, we help each other grow towards one vital light. So I read this, I highlighted it. I was so excited. You know, it's just some things get me all excited. And so I started sketching. This painting came to me. And when I read that description, I thought of yellow and light to represent the sun. And then I thought about the flowers and peace and the good real energy. So I drew this little, it's a funny little sketch, okay? But I drew this little sketch that afternoon or that morning actually. And my idea is that in a bigger painting, I want to have this sort of light force, okay? So that could represent the sun, but it represents the mana. And then I wanted to have a Buddha, okay? A little Buddha person, guy. And some flowers, and I was thinking about like a lotus flower down here and some more flowers. So it's still really just percolating in my head, but the reason I'm telling you guys about this is that you never know what's going to spark an idea, and the best thing to do is either write it down, like just write it down in your journal or write it anywhere, but also just do like a quick little sketch. So in my journal, in my morning journal, I actually do little sketches and doodles along the side. So I thought for today's journal page, I would also really start kind of making almost a little vision board for this idea. And then when I go to my painting, probably in the next week or so, I'll have that next to me as I'm working on this and thinking about what does this all mean. So that was my first part of the show and tell. And I'm going to flip you guys down and show you how I'm gonna, so what I'm gonna do is do a spread and not finish it today, but get it started, and we're gonna work on it today and tomorrow. So I thought that would be a good rest of our Facebook lives. Okay, so hold on, flip you over, and you should see my messy studio. I was rolling tea towels yesterday while I was Zooming. Okay, let's see where you guys are. All right, that's good. I wanna show you some of my pieces too. So we did the cover, and I have this other page, and often I like to just flip around. You don't have to go from the beginning to the end. Just whatever you guys want to do, it's totally fine. So some of my favorite things to do would be to go through my magazines and cut some things out. So I have some stuff, and I'm looking for my favorite scissors, because I have favorite scissors, and some things I already cut out this morning just to kind of move us along. Okay, so this I found, my sister Susie had gone to see Oprah Winfrey, which I'm super jealous about, but she brought me one of the extra like handouts, takeaways that she had, and this has been in it, and I've always wanted to do something with it, and it's perfect because there's my son, live your best life, and I already have a yellow page. So, and again, I have no idea what colors these are gonna do for me, but I think that's a good grounding page for my mana. And then I started thinking about other things that I wanted to have on there. So I cut a couple of these out. I have this flower, and this sort of represents the lotus shape. Still kind of working that idea out. And I might end up putting this on here or not. It all depends if I have room. It's a pretty big little sketch, but put it right there. Or right here. These are my favorite scissors. And Mom, I know you're on, so will you see if you can remember what these are and just put it in the comments? I think they're like something bee, like honeybee or Susie bee or something like that, but I really like these a lot. And so I'm gonna use those. And then a few other things that I've cut out already are just some little elements of color, because that's what I love. I love color, so I've got some of these. And these are left over from a Tisha Moore class I did years ago. She gave us all these little handouts, which were awesome. So another great idea too that she told me about is if you have some art of yourself or somebody else's or a card and you don't want to cut it up, make a copy of it and take it to well, you might not be able to do that now, but when we get back to our normal way of being, take it to a really good printer like, FedEx or Kinko's, and just have them printed on nice paper. It has to be good paper weight. And that's what I did with these, and now I can cut them up and use collage. So, if you don't want to cut something up, that's another alternative for when you're collaging. Then I found these little hearts that represent so much to me, but I also like the yellow, and I'm gonna use those. And then I found this piece of paper. I think I got this at a closing out store thing, but I liked, our story. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I kind of wanted to put that in there. And then this is just from a clothing magazine, and I like that shape, those lines. Those are some lines that I like to do on my paintings. And then I had a magazine that actually had some Buddhas in there, so I thought that was great. I'm gonna cut them up. I think I actually like this one better. It's shinier. So I've got these to cut up, and then this is a magazine too, and I liked Where Creativity Flourishes. So often on these pages, I'll do, different types of, whether it's a photograph or it's a drawing or it's type, I like to mix it all up. So one of the things that I do when I actually do my collage work is I turn my paper towards the scissors. I just find like it cuts it better. So I'm just turning. Now I'm gonna go around this line. But when you have the little areas that are hard to cut, try turning your collage piece. And if you mess up, which I do all the time, and part of your image gets cut off, that's okay. You can actually use that and overlap it with something else, like a flower or something that you're like, let's say I cut this arm off by accident, then you can put like a flower over that area. So don't be bummed if that happens. Okay, so I've got my Buddha, and I'm gonna go in and cut this little tiny section. Oopsie. This is another reason why I like these little scissors, is you can get really into these little grooves. Okay, so now I've got my golden Buddha. I've got this flower and this flower already cut up. I've got some of these guys already cut up. And I'm gonna cut some hearts. I'm not too sure where I want the hearts yet, but I think I will. Cut them this way. I've got some hearts. Now I've got my type. Now if I'm really trying to be neat and perfect, I'll use an X-Acto knife and a ruler. That's just another way to have it look good if you wanted to. Another thing you can do too is when you're working on your words, I might even cut these into 3. so it's not one line across. And let's see, there was one other thing here. I think this was like old scrapbooking. You guys who scrapbook can probably hear it. It's very thick. Oh, you know what? And it has the word beautiful right there in a different language. I don't know though. It looks like it's a different language spelled wrong, or it's not beautiful. But anyway, let's use that and put that in here. And what I'll do is I'm going to cut around this piece. And so when I start working on my pages, I cut a bunch of things out and then get started. And I cut a bunch of things out and then I'll go back maybe and cut more out if I need it. It just kind of helps me figure out how I want to get this page going. Okay, so I've got a couple big pieces. I'm not sure if I'll put that in there. I might put it in there. But first I'm going to get this guy down. I'm going to use my Tombow, and so I may not have enough to do this, but I ordered on Amazon the other day and it will be here this afternoon. And so what I do is once you have these, you can then, oh gosh, I hope it's not out, no. Once you do these, you can then order replacement packs. And replacement packs are great because then it's the same cost of like one new one. And I think I'm gonna put that down here on the bottom. Now I cut this out before we started today, so I knew it would be good. But just to go back to that, it's really easy to replace these. This blue part is something that you keep, and these are the cartridges, and you just pull them off and put one on. So easy. I got 3 cartridges for $7. If you wanted to buy one of these, it's $7. So anyway, if you need to invest in the first time, buy this in a 3-pack and you guys are golden. All right, so I've got my little pieces over here, and I really like this. Flower. I feel like it's opening up to maybe a sun, you know, opening up into something. So I think the other thing I want to keep in mind is I am going to be writing on this page too. So I want to give myself some space to write. And then in tomorrow's demo, I'm going to show you some other finished pages too that I've done before. So we can look at those together. All right, so I'm just gonna get my flower on here. And if a piece is sticking out, what I do is I just go in and give it a little dot of the tape. And if a little piece is off the tapes over here, you can just probably scrape that off or add another thing. I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably marker over it anyway. So now I've got this other flower. I actually might put this in here and then work around these 2 pages. So I've got my guys over there. Let me just clean up my mess. So I hope you guys are enjoying those doodles. And you're doodling away while you watch your Netflix. We did another 3 seasons, whoopsie, of Homeland. Oh my God, that show. Okay, so I'm gonna put the pink, I think, over here. I just like how that goes together. So I grab usually the bigger pieces first and layer those in, just because it's easier to put the bigger ones down. See, that's what the thing I was thinking about. So it almost becomes a little bit of a vision board for me. Okay, so I've got this beautiful flower. It's opening up. This could almost be like a little rainbow. And I like how this is sort of corn out of my sketchbook. I think that's cute. Okay, I'm gonna put these down here. When I work with the Tombow too, I always put it on a different, I have another piece of paper sort of ready to go. I don't do it on my journal because it does get a little gluey. One of these Facebook Lives too, I'm going to show you all my, because I just saw them this morning and made me think about it. I'm going to show you all my mermaid collages next week. And you'll see that I use this Tombow for it. For all my scales, and they're tiny, and so it's lots of little pieces. So I'm just trying to bring a little bit of color into there. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. And maybe over there. Let's see, I got a couple more of these guys. Ooh, maybe that's kind of cool. No. Cool for a second. Okay, put that up there. So I'm probably not gonna do, okay, I'm gonna put this down because I'm still sort of thinking about all my words. I think I definitely want to have this up in here. It feels like it needs to go up here. But then it's a little bit weird too. So I might leave that off for right now. I'm gonna put my Buddha down because that's an important part for me to draw. I'm going to put in my painting. There was a little Buddha sculpture that I might buy online for a sort of, when I'm painting, sometimes I want to see something so I can get my shape right. And anyway, it's a little wooden Buddha, and I thought I would get that and then leave that in my art studio. I have little Buddhas around my studio. They're very sweet. Okay, so I think I'm going to put this here. And then, where are we? Good, we're all straight. I'm going to take my words and make that into 3. Maybe cut these. Paintings really come from all over the place. There's not like one thing I do to make an idea pop into my head or grab onto it. Every once in a while I have a dream about one, and then I right away I write it down or do a super fast sketch in pencil just so I don't forget that, because I forget it very fast. Okay, so I'm going to, I think I'm going to put the type over here because I've got, and I'm just going to go with where I plopped it down. Just go with your gut. Uh-oh, there's no more tape. So, hold on, that was my last couple pieces anyway, so that's fine. Later this afternoon, I will put that in there. So I'll put creative. Oh, whoops, good thing I didn't do that because that would be wrong. Where creativity flourishes. And Then I'll probably add a few more little pieces. Then I want to do some writing on this page tomorrow with you guys. So we're gonna do some more lettering tomorrow. When you are going through a magazine or you have a photo of something, put them in a box too. I have boxes everywhere. So when I find something, I just put it in a box, and then you can always go back to it. And even if you don't have an eye painting or whatever, you can do the journaling first, and sometimes it'll spark some ideas. Do some writing. Sometimes doing this is really helpful. All right, so I'm gonna flip you guys back around, and hopefully you're all still there. Oh, I have to tell you guys a funny thing too. Okay. How many of you guys have not, here's a little bit of a mess. Clearly, I need to work on that for tomorrow. How many of you guys wear earrings? Because today was the first day I put earrings in. We have been under shelter in place for 24 days, and I have not put earrings in, and they were so hard to get in. So if you guys have pierced ears, put them in. Just try it before they close up. All right, so a few last things I want to talk to you guys about. You know, I'm not political. I talked about how Karen, I'm going to get back to you on that question. I love Como though, and he did something this morning that touched my heart, and I wanted to share it with you guys. He is starting a hashtag campaign. He started it today. Not him personally, but somebody who works for him started it. And so he started a campaign. And it's hashtag I stay home for. So I already popped this on my Instagram stories today. So if you guys have your social accounts or you want to do this, it's really fun. And you're basically, we're really all trying to encourage everybody to stay home if they can and do social distancing. And obviously it's working. We're leveling off, especially out here in California, Northern California. But I love this, that he's doing this. So you put, hashtag I stay home for, and then who you stay home for. So today, this is my hashtag. I'm staying home for all the nurses who have to be out there. Because I was talking about that yesterday, how I really feel for all of the healthcare workers. And so anyway, that is really a cool thing to do. And if you have a social media account and you want to do a hashtag and spread the word to stay home, that's awesome. And I am going to pull our card from this box today. Universe has your back. Oh, I wanted to get back to Karen. She wanted to know if, hold on, Karen, I gotta put my glasses on. I went to order, okay, I'll talk to you later about the Tombow, but on the mood board, I often do mood boards and vision boards for my paintings. And when I'm working on my paintings on this easel back there, I'll have little inspirational things that will spark some new ideas. So I always have, for instance, if I'm drawing an elephant, I usually have my Pinterest board up with elephants, so I make sure I've got at least some of the proportions right, and then the rest of it I just sort of go, and none of my art is so realistic that people be like, wow, why is that elephant trunk really short? My art is more whimsical, so as an artist I feel like you have a little bit of leeway to do whatever you want to do. But I do often have a Pinterest board of ideas, like if I'm doing certain flowers or if I'm doing my elephants, or I'm looking around the room like some of my whales and sea life. But then I'll also have, whether it's a journal page or whether it's just a sketch. A lot of my art I sketch, and I do it in my sketchbook with colored pencils. So that's another thing to think about too. Like if you want to, before you get onto your blank canvas, have an idea. Anyway, and any of the other comments that you guys have too, I'll make sure I'll respond to them. So I am picking our card today. Let's get a good card. Let's get a good card. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, what's so crazy? This card has the sun on it. It's stuff like that. So crazy cool. All right, ready? Back. My fearless freedom lights up the world. How awesome is that? I hope it's not backwards. Is that so cool that we just did this whole thing today on the sun and the mana and the journal page? I might cry, but I'm going to try and keep it together. And I put on, I don't know if you guys can see this, when I had Hudson, so 15 years ago, one of my best friends in San Francisco when I lived there gave me this as a baby gift before I had the baby gift. It wasn't really for Hudson, it's for me. And just reminds me of the sun and shining your light and spreading that goodness and realness out there. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. We've got one more day this week. Tomorrow we're gonna keep on working on my journal page. I have some more show and tell for you. And next week I got a whole bunch of ideas that I'm thinking about because I have a feeling we'll still be together next week. Okay? All right. Big hugs. You guys have a wonderful day. Okay, bye.